And we're back with another episode of Let Me Be Frank podcast. And before I say anything else, welcome to all the new viewers. Obviously,
yes.
The Big Bad John episode, John Hartson episode, and Martin Compson episode's got everybody talking. The numbers are great, so keep subscribing. Search for Let Me Be Frank, all the usual platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So it's going okay, mate, eh?
It's going well.
Good.
Yeah, it's going well. Good guests on, and today's guest, one of the biggest.
Well, I don't know why upset Martin Compson around it. No. This is probably the biggest guest so far. Before we start, has everyone been to the toilet? Neil, have you been to the toilet?
Neil Lennon, thanks for coming on, Neil.
Hi Frank, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, pal. I'm good.
How's your golf?
My golf's okay, actually. It's very good. Thanks very much.
It's, I bet it is. Simon, he's a bandit.
I've
played with him several times, right, and I've yet to find out what his actual handicap is.
It goes up and down. Depends who I play.
And I play with Bobby Bluebell, and Frank always gets in his head. He's always my partner, Bobby, and Frank winds him up, and then his game goes to pot.
I know.
I've witnessed this.
Bring in politics, and he just goes all over the place, doesn't he?
Aye. Frank, you can't talk about politics to anybody.
I don't. I just wind Bobby up.
Aye. Bobby doesn't talk about politics on Twitter.
He's incredible.
Anyway, listen. We're wasting time talking about golf. We've got the man himself here, and Neil, first of all, thanks very much for coming on. You're a busy man. I know you'll be short of time. So, Romania. Wow, how is it?
It's amazing. The city's beautiful. The club is good. We've just we haven't got off to the best of starts, but it's just a work in progress at the minute, Simon. For a couple of draws and a defeat, which in a game that we should have won, but overall, you're absolutely loving it. Like I said, the club's good. We've got a new stadium, new training ground, and it's all sort of laid out for taking the club forward. So yeah, I'm really enjoying what we're doing at the minute.
Brilliant. Do you see it as a long term out there? Yeah, are you going to be?
I hope so, Frank.
Obviously,
it all depends on
football,
where we finish in the season. I mean, it's a bit like Scotland where it splits, after 30 games, and then you play the sort of each other. The actual points total. So say you're on 50 points, it halves to 25, and that goes for the same for the other 6 teams in the top 7, and then you just play for the title after that. So it's a bit different, but sort of similar traits to what they do in Scotland.
You won't have been there obviously not been there for too long to kind of experience the Romanian culture and so on, but
I have.
Aye, yeah.
I'll guarantee that he has.
You're getting out and about, you seen much of the city?
Yeah, the city's beautiful. I mean, we train in the evenings at the minute because the weather is so hot during the day. I mean, you're talking sort of mid-30s to 40 degrees, so it's just impossible to train any time around lunchtime. So we train in the evenings. The city's, it's like a metropolis. It's very, very busy. There's a lot of parks and lakes. The people are good. There's no real serious crime here. And football is the number one sport. So, it's 24/7 here on the TV channels and the news. So Romania had a really good Euros. So off the back of that, there's a lot of interest in the game. Our first home game, there was 25,000 sellout with Cluj. We drew 2-2. So yeah, it was great atmosphere. We've got a big game on Monday now. Hopefully we can get up and running in terms of wins. But it's a very competitive league. But the city itself it's great. There's a lot of travelling to be done as well, Frank.
Is that right?
Our opening game of the season, we had to get a flight to the city the night before. Played a team called Uta. So when you're playing the likes of Cluj and other teams near sort of the Hungarian border or Moldovan border, you have to take a flight, which is again something pretty new.
Yeah. You'll be used to that with your private jet and all that, eh?
I'll just borrow yours.
Yeah, all right. All right, we're going to come over and see you anyway. I'm going to come over to one of the games, so I'll come over and
I've been approached by somebody at the Bucharest Golf Club, and they've said anytime you want to go down and play. So
brilliant.
You might bring your sticks with you as well. But it's a good environment. It's a very competitive league. And there's a lot of interest in it here.
And what about, what did they know about Neil Lennon, the Rapid supporters? I mean, obviously, your record speaks for itself. Did you weren't obviously going over there as an unknown to them? Do you feel as though the kind of support were kind of happy at getting some of your experience and record?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was what sort of attracted the owner to me. You know, the fact that, you know, even in my last club in Cyprus, we won the cup and got into the Europa League. So they've not won the title for 20 odd years. I think we were in with a shout. You know, we'll be hopefully in and around it towards the end of the season. But it's really about making progress in the right way. They finished 6th last year. So obviously we want to improve drastically on that and try and if we can make the top 3, that'll be a signs of, you know, really moving.
Has he give you money, Neil? Has he give you money to bring in
there's
players?
Been a bit of money spent. Like, we brought in sort of 4 or 5 players from sort of, they do a lot of business in Eastern Europe and Slovakia and Serbia and countries like that. You know, the main crux of the squad is Romanian, and you have to play an under-21 Romanian player in your team at all times. So even if you start with one and you take them off, you have to bring another one on. So there's a few little rules like that are a little bit different to what we're used to. But
you get used to it, I'm sure.
Most of the business is done sort of this side of Europe.
So when the option came up, did you think twice about it? I mean, Romania, it's not.
Yeah, of course.
It's not a country.
You know, once I spoke to the owner and the director of football, then I felt, you know, this was a really good opportunity and something again a little bit different off the back of what a year in Cyprus, which I really enjoyed, and then you know, taking this on, you know, big city, you know, plenty of culture, plenty of things to, you know, occupy my mind away from football. But the main crux of it is to be here for the football, and we've got, you know, some really good players here, some talented players, and other players, younger ones that we want to develop. So it's all encompassing, really, in terms of what you want as a coach. But the main thing is, you know, we need to start getting results now and start climbing the table, which we're more than capable of doing.
With the heat, you have to say it's really, really hot. Luckily, you've got that kind of Mediterranean complexion coming from.
Yeah, build it myself.
So you cope with that.
It's not a problem. The fact the 50's on, Simon. So
yeah.
I found we play paddle tennis as well. I don't know if you've played that before. So during our spare time, we play a bit of paddle tennis, which is something I never played before until I come here. So me and the staff will have a game sort of every Friday. So we'll be playing later on today. So that's a lot of fun. Yeah. But in terms of the training, you know, we've tried to bring a different mentality to the club, more intense in the training, and you know, a bit more like a British style of playing and training. So again, there's a little bit of adaptation there for the players, but we can see the progress that they're making. I don't speak the language, obviously. Most of the guys speak English, and the staff here have worked actually in England as well. Some of them, the director of football and the CEO. So in terms of the staff behind the scenes, you know, they've been first class as well.
So you'll have a translator next year, I take it, when you're doing your press work and so on. Yeah, that must be quite an interesting one, just to make sure they're getting the message out properly.
Yeah, because sometimes, as you know, Simon, things can get lost in translation.
You've obviously heard where I used to work.
Yes.
Helping me out with that.
Yes. Well, so that's just what we're talking about earlier, you know, about the papers we knew now. It's a lot of piss to me, but never mind.
I wasn't going to mention that. I wasn't going to mention.
That's a new one.
That's a new one.
I would have heard that in the last couple of days. But without talking specifically about that, obviously it goes without saying, you know, you're somebody who's found yourself in the middle of a kind of media storm quite a bit. Is it maybe going over somewhere like Romania? You might have thought, I'll just stay out of the way for a wee bit, and they won't be reading much about me over back home.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking, exactly that. You know, just get on with your work, and then you see stories like that just, you know, are completely fabricated, and you're like, well, it's obviously the same everywhere else, you know. So it's just something that you have to sort of put to one side and ignore.
Aye, maybe the Bucharest loyal are out there. They're trying to kind of stir up stuff. I don't know.
The ultras. Oh, we have ultras. Don't worry about that.
You got the ultras, have you?
You know, a hardcore. You know, put out the flags and the banners, and they're very much dedicated to the club.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
So thanks for coming on specifically for this podcast. It's fairly new, as I'm sure you know. You've maybe seen some 1 or 2 episodes, but it's great having somebody like Frank next to me, because there's a lot of affection for Frank, and we can attract some big names, and it's great. What are your early recollections? What age would you have been when this man was doing his stuff?
I remember Frank in the mid-80s with an old teammate of mine, Tony Cotty.
Yes.
Playing for West Ham, and the partnership they had together, it's legendary at West Ham. I think they took West Ham to second or third in the old Division 1, and the two of them together, and it was always, like little and large.
I know.
Tony feeding off Frank, and Frank sort of taking the hits.
I was a big man.
The mullet, the long.
Well, you know what Tony's like. He doesn't like challenging anyone, so it was hard to take.
Tony wouldn't tackle a fish supper.
No.
But the two of them together were dynamite, and a very good West Ham team under great manager, legendary manager, John Lyle. Mm-hmm. So obviously, then you see him playing for Celtic and scoring goals in cup finals and that. And I think Frank probably doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's very. He was a top striker. To do what he did in the top league was awesome, and what he did for Celtic was he was a fantastic striker for Celtic. Let's put it this way, Simon, as a midfield player, I'd have loved to play with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
cheers, pal.
Well, you can still get. But Frank was on the five-a-side pitch with me. Got him along at Goals in Great Western Road on Monday night to play with some of the young team. The thing is with Frank now, Simon, you could not make Frank stood still. You know what I mean? He's a bit like Jim Leighton these days.
My legs are getting shrinking. I'm getting smaller.
But you took a knee knock, so you couldn't really.
Took a knee knock. It was one of them. Somebody ran by me. So it was like, my knee. I was in goal, so it was good fun. I'm getting back. I need to get myself fit, Neil. That's what I need to do. Get myself back in there.
Keep playing the golf.
I struggle to do 2 games in a row now.
What? You're playing two games a day?
I know.
Every time I phone him to say, right, we've got such and such coming on, he's like, hang on a minute, I'm about to pop.
I was up there. I was up in Glen Eagles. We were a wee pal, so it was good. So I've been all over. Wee Brian's been talking about coming over to see you anyway, so.
How's he doing? Is he good?
He's good. We'll do that. We'll definitely come on. He was talking to me last night. I was at the game last night, St Mirren game, and it was a good result.
My boy was there.
A good result. So it was okay. And wee Brian was there, so it was good.
Looked a good atmosphere, Frank.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, brilliant. Some of the songs I don't even know. They're all coming up with these new songs. It's great. So it was. I got away before the end, obviously, getting away, and go home. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
So you are before the end of games.
My old hunting grounds are out there. Toledo. Everyone keeps talking about what was Preseason like. I say, Toledo and Paris was brilliant. That's 2 nightclubs.
Toledo Junction. I read about that back in the 60s.
60s.
So do you say your boy was at the game? Did they tell you much about it?
Yeah, my son. He sent me a video before the game and
good
atmosphere. Because Gallagher's, he's a first team pro there now.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the books at St Mirren.
Oh, is he?
And,
I didn't know that.
He played for the reserves the other night against Berwick Rangers in one of the little sort of cup competitions. So they won 3-2, and then he was at the game last night, and he said they were pretty comfortable in the game.
Yeah.
Is he enjoying his football?
Loves it. He was away there with Northern Ireland and last month playing in the Euros, under 19 Euros. So that was a great experience for him as well.
Where's he playing now?
St Mirren have been brilliant for him, and Stephen and Gemma O'Carroll have been really good sort of mentors for him. He was on loan at Dumbarton last season, so he helped them get promotion. So he's hoping to go out on loan again and get some more experience, which is great.
Great.
You were asking what position he plays?
Yeah, what is it he plays? What is he? Is he versatile or is he?
Oh, he can play sort of left back or left centre half. So he's nothing like his father. He's tall, elegant, and left-footed. So it's a steward's inquiry, Frank.
Just with Celtic needed a left back or left centre mid.
We'll come on to that in a minute because we are talking to the man, the last man to take Celtic into the knockout stages of the Champions League. We'll come on to that in a wee minute. I was going to ask, so whenever I think of Romanian football, I always think of Pat Bonner saving Italia 90 in the World Cup. I think it was the last 16. Do they still remember that, or your Irish
connection? It's funny you mention that because we went to the National Training Centre the other day, and there was actually a big picture of Romania playing Ireland in 1990. With Paul McGrath in it and Steve Staunton against the likes of Lupescu and people like that. So in the mid-90s, Romania were one of the teams. Haji's still here. He's coaching one of the teams, Don Petrescu. is back at Cluj. Adrian Mutu was, coaching here last year as well. So, yeah, there's still a few of the legends floating around. So, yeah, it's trying to get back on its feet again, Romanian football. Like I said, they had really good Euros, and the support they had in Germany was unbelievable. And obviously, they've still got that history of that team, particularly in '94 and '98 in France, the World Cups, where they were very exciting to watch.
That's right. That was the team. Maybe they all dyed their hair.
They all dyed their hair blonde. That's right.
Who would do that, Neil? I mean, who would do such a thing?
No, stupid, man. Never get me.
He done it. What was it? He done it with Martin, and he done it with white, wasn't it? But you dyed it white.
I ended up myself in a bit of bother in Glasgow a couple of times, and he called me in and he said, Lenny, you're 29, 30 years of age. I said, why do you dye your hair blonde? I said, well, I just like to be different. He goes, well, be different. Score a bloody goal. Find me 2 weeks' wages, Frank, and that was it.
Is that right? Are they fines? I don't know about it. I've never been fined.
I need to ask you this, because this is Frank's favourite story, because I think you've told it 3 times in the podcast.
Right,
the one when Tony Watt put Celtic 2-0 up in 2012, and there's about 3 minutes to go, it's 2-0. Did you turn around at the bench and say, "I'll take a draw"?
we could get a draw. We could get a draw to this.
I turned around to Big Johan and said, "We'll make it a draw to this now." So again, that's one of those iconic nights that you see at the time, Sam. You don't realise the enormity of it or the significance of it. But that's like 2012. So you're talking like 12 years ago now. It just seems to have. It feels like it was last week. And you really want. I think the club will be back there at some stage. Over the next sort of whenever it happens, I think the club will get there eventually again.
It used to be, that's what we're saying. It used to be a fortress at Celtic, Neil. It's not so much now.
I think there was a break. Well, there was sort of 4 or 5 years where we didn't qualify. So when they qualified under Ange, that was more or less their first year back in, and it's sort of like a Mark II, really. From Martin was the first, and that was like 20 odd years ago, and we had a really strong team then where we could compete in the transfer market with the English clubs. Now it's a totally different sort of evolution in the transfer market, but I still think with the right signings, if they can find them, allied to the quality that the club already has, I think they can do okay in Europe again. I think they've got the right coach.
Any players over there?
Ange was a great coach. Pardon?
Any players over there that you would recommend to come over?
It's too early to say, Frank. There's only like 2 games really started, so I haven't had a chance to really.
This is Frank's his agent head on here. I think he's maybe trying to get 10%.
To do a wee deal here, Neil.
I'm not a massive overview of the league yet, So I'll keep Brendan posted if anything pops up.
Right.
On the Champions League thing, though. So 2012, right? You put a team on the pitch and beat Barcelona, right? And a tremendous Barcelona team. I think it's fairly well documented the possession Celtic had that night. I think you've read stats like maybe 11% or whatever, right? But the job was done. Since then, whether it's Brendan Rodgers, Ange, or Brendan Rodgers again, they've kind of tried to go toe-to-toe with these teams and play football, and we've seen some of the results, some absolute hammerings. It's 2 different types of, ways of coping. What do you think they should maybe going forward try and adopt more of the approach that you did?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that the teams are as strong as that Barcelona team were, or round about that era. But when you come up against a team that are significantly superior to you, you have to be wary of going toe to toe with them, because they've just got that supreme quality. That Barcelona team could have hurt you at any sort of stage in any minute of any game. And the football they played after we scored the first goal, when from Wanyama was scoring to half time, was it was amazing to watch, and the speed and the quality that they played at. So, and you need your goalkeeper to play well, because that they're going to create opportunities. So, I think it would be a bit harsh to say that Celtic would go toe-to-toe. I just don't know if we've had the depth of quality at the manager's disposal over the last few years to really sort of get results against these teams. And I think now that we've got a core that they can build around, and just add quality to it, then it might be exciting times again in the next couple of years.
Yeah. We've got a new keeper in. We've got, although the age Kasper Schmeichel's at is maybe not long term, but I think it was probably quite important to get somebody in, excuse me, to replace Joe Hart quite quickly, and they did that. And it's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, he's a quality goalkeeper, he's Premier League winner.
Mm-hmm.
People will look at his age, but he's just played in the Euros there for Denmark, so
I know.
There's no question on his calibre and his quality, and obviously Brendan knows him from his time at Leicester. And Joe was, very popular with the supporters and in the dressing room. I think Kasper's that sort of big personality as well, and for every length of time he is at the club, I'm sure he'll do very well.
Yeah. As far as keeping hold of the likes of, O'Reilly and Hatate and so on, it could be a very different Celtic team that starts the season if they.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's going to be difficult to hold on to O'Reilly. Off the back of the season that he had, and just that the interest that was there for him in January, and then that there's going to be, there's definitely suitors for him again in this summer. If the club hold on to him, then they've done brilliantly. I think Hatate will stay. I'm hoping he'll stay. But, Brendan will be, I'm sure, working away in the background.
The good thing about it, Neil, the good thing about it is I don't think they'll let O'Reilly go unless it's on their terms. I think they've got the money. They don't have to sell him, and I don't think he would be too concerned if he stayed. I mean, I don't know where Matt would go. I look at him. I think he's a wonderful talent going forward, but you wouldn't want him. I'd want a Neil Lennon beside me rather than Matt O'Reilly if I was in the trenches down in England. If you're fighting for points, I don't think Matt's the boy you want beside you. But going forward in a team like Celtic on the front foot, he's different class.
Yeah, I thought he had a stellar season last year. I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was just, even in the Champions League, some of the assists that he created for Kyogo and the one against Feyenoord, I thought he showed his quality at that level. I was really disappointed for him that he wasn't picked for the Euros.
Yeah.
That beggared belief for me. So if we hold on to him, that would be a massive bonus.
He's loved there, isn't he? He's got goals in him. So he's absolutely adored at Celtic, so I wouldn't. Yeah. He's not going to get that unless he goes to Juventus or something like that, who they're talking about. But they're wanting 26 million now. I don't know at the moment. I'd like to see him stay for another year. It'd be great.
I think we all would, Frank. But I mean, business dictates. And
of course,
we don't know what the kids' ambitions are either. And they did, there was interest in him in January from Atletico Madrid. I think he's, looking at him pre-season, nothing seems to be affecting him. He got a couple of goals there, didn't he, in America? A couple of great results out there for Celtic as well. So the beauty of this summer is that Brendan's in, from the start.
Yeah.
And there's continuity off the back of, really good finish the last season. So, I'm hoping that the club start the season really well this year.
Did you follow the games in America? The preseason?
So just saw the highlights, Sam, and that was all. It's hard to gauge again. You're just looking at, Man City. Obviously, it's very early for them and Chelsea, but still really important to, put your marker down and to score 4 goals against Chelsea and Man City's brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I don't imagine that Man City fans will be too concerned about it. The Chelsea fans might be a wee bit concerned, right enough, having seen their team go 4-0 down to Celtic.
Yeah, but Celtic just shows you Celtic can do that, the teams.
Yeah.
But Chelsea have got their work in progress again. New manager, different style of play. You just don't know who's going to be there and who's not going to be in Chelsea squad come the start of the season. So, yeah, they've got their own issues.
I think the boy Gallagher's leaving. I think he's leaving, isn't he?
Yeah, Gallagher's going to Atletico Madrid, I think.
So
that's again, it's a revolving door at Chelsea, and it just doesn't seem to be any stability there. Not that for me, that's a a very difficult thing to contend with as a coach or a player.
Well, the good thing about it that nobody talks about is Schmeichel was absolutely magnificent. He pulled off about 4 or 5 worldies, and which is great for him. Wasn't very good for the.
Listen, Frank, he's
yeah.
I've been a big admirer of him for a long time. I mean, his father was.
I played against his dad. There you go. That's
yeah. I did as well.
So, I only lobbed him for 18 years. It's all right. Just
he saved one from me, which was good about at Filbert Street. But he was tops, Frank, wasn't he? He was an amazing goalkeeper.
I love playing against him. Yeah.
And then Kasper's done great, So I mean, I think he'll really enjoy it. I think he'll embrace Celtic.
I think so.
And I think he'll be a big plus for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Whenever I think of Neil Lennon goals, I think of Dunfermline. You had a habit of scoring against Dunfermline. You scored a couple of belters against them.
I scored a worldie. When we won 8-1, I think the ball bounced about 4 times before it reached the net. I think by the time I scored, the goalkeeper was having a nervous breakdown.
That was the game. I think Sean Maloney maybe scored an absolute belter at scissors kick.
He did. He scored a scissors kick.
Aye.
And Zarowski scored 4.
Aye.
All right. Okay.
Aye. So you're not the only person that have scored 4 goals for Celtic.
There you go. Aye. I scored 4 goals for Celtic and get took off. I remember
Did Jakanowski not score 4 as well, wasn't he?
Oh, he did. Against Partizan Belgrade.
I scored 4 twice when I was at Celtic, and I got took off twice, and it was only because Neil Lennon was on the bench, and the gaffer, I'm going, what do you take me off for? And the gaffer's going, nothing to do with me, and Neil's saying, because Neil scored 5 one game, and he's going, you'll never match my record, son. That was good. Nasty. It was all good fun. It was right though. Can't do nothing for the bench. So yeah, and God rest Neil, he was a good boy.
It's interesting you're saying how Brendan Rodgers is in from the start of the season. He's had the summer with him as well. Have you been quite impressed about how he's gone about things since he came back? Obviously, when he came back, there was a lot of raised eyebrows, and a lot of die-hard Celtic supporters weren't for it.
Yeah, I thought in the end he did a great job, and he had to go through a real difficult period as well, Simon. And I thought he handled all the negativity around it brilliantly. Yeah. And I thought Celtic finished the season, really well. Playing some great football.
He's a top
hopefully
coach.
now that he can build on that. I mean, I think it's always difficult with a manager like Ange, who was really successful, left, and there's a huge hole to fill there. But Brendan's an elite manager, and obviously with the way he left in the first place, acrimoniously, there was a lot of raised eyebrows. But I think he's loving it now, and I think with the whole summer of him being in control of things, there'll be a lot more sort of calmness about the place, and less sort of stress with regarding signings and stuff like that as well.
Well, I think that's a big thing what you're talking about, though. I think that's a big thing for, I would imagine for you and any coach, was being in control. I think he's got to be in control.
Having that continuity, Frank, as well. That the players now know the way Brendan works, where probably a lot of them didn't know. Yeah, when he first came back in, and there was all this talk about him, changing the style of play and all that rubbish. It just took a bit of time for him to get used to the players and vice versa. Yeah. And like I say, I thought, when they won the league at Kilmarnock, they won 5-0 that night. I mean, the football played that night was spectacular on a really poor pitch. So, and again, they started the pre-season really well, and you can just see there's a fluidity about them. And
starting to now look for Kyogo, which is, at the start they didn't do it. They just weren't finding him. Nobody was looking for him, and he was still the little guy was making all these runs. And as a striker, I'm going, why are they not finding him? So, but it's nice to see that.
It's fantastic.
He's great into it. It's incredible.
He's just so intelligent. Yeah. I just love the way he plays, and again, he's been a stellar player for Celtic. I thought Ida did well at the end of last season as well.
That seems to have been. But
going to ask you about him, so that saga's becoming is becoming quite drawn out. Will he won't he? Whether he's going to. I think the majority of Celtic fans would like to see him. It's going to take a few quid, but do you think it'd be worth it getting him signed up?
Well, he's still young enough to improve. I think was he 23, 24. I just I just like what he brought to the team,
Yeah.
Frank. His movement in the end. He looked strong. He scored some really important goals, obviously, but he just brought something different. Physicality there that we probably hadn't had since Jack and Macca's left. And Brendan, I thought that was really smart bit of business to do that in January. Whether we can do it, whether the club can do it permanently, you guys will probably have a better steer on it than myself.
It looks this morning as if it's been weighing a wee bit, but it's. I'd love to get him on loan for another year if we can't spend that kind of money. It'd be
I think
good.
the kid really enjoyed it.
I think so.
You were saying, Frank, that going forward,
got it.
Yeah.
It's midfield and attack, they're looking good, but defence...
Middle to front, I think there's nothing... I can't see anyone better than middle to front. I'm a bit worried about the defence. There's a lot of chances against Man City. There's a lot of chances against Chelsea. And we tended to leak a lot of goals last year, so I think we've got to tighten that up, especially in Europe, Neil, because it's been a long time. It's been a long time since we've done something in Europe. And you see the other mob there.
I'm a big fan of, if he's in the team, particularly domestically, you sort of you're happy. With Europe, you maybe need a big lefty beside him, a bit of pace.
Yeah.
That centre of defence is probably an area.
Centre defence, because when you see it across the city there, for some reason they seem to tend to do well in Europe. And okay, we ran away with it in the league, but they tend to do all right, and you don't like seeing that because Celtic's always been good in Europe, especially at Celtic Park.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Frank, Celtic are playing in the Champions League, and Rangers are playing in the Europa, predominantly.
Yeah,
and they were in the Champions League a few years ago, and they found it really difficult. To be fair, the group of death with Liverpool, Napoli, and Ajax, but they really struggled.
Yeah. So what's the kind of I don't know whether you set targets for yourself as far as how this season goes, but is there anything that you would think, that would constitute a successful season? I mean, you said it's 20 odd years since Rapid have won the league, so I don't imagine
finishing in the top three. I think that's what you're going for, is it?
That's what we're looking at. Initially try to make the top six and then take it from there. So it's just a work in progress at the minute. We've got new players in. They didn't finish the season well last year. They had a really bad run for about 6 or 7 games where they didn't win, and they were beaten heavily. So we've had to tidy a few things up defensively, and we're creating a lot of chances at the minute, but the ball's not just dropping for us. But I think that'll come with the level of performance that we showed over the last couple of games. Again, we're only sort of 2-3 games into it, and it's like I say, a progression for us, and they're getting used to us and we're getting used to them. So we're excited, in backroom team, we're, in the director of football, we're excited about what lies ahead for us. And it's brilliant being back and coaching, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing.
So remember when you went down to West Ham, you got a tutor to teach English and all that? Neil, have you have you got any?
What was her name?
I can't remember her name.
I was going to say something, I'm not going to say
it. No, don't say it.
We're trying not to get Lennon.
We're trying to get the kids on.
We don't want the podcast cancelled in episode 8. But are you going to go to? Are you going to get any lessons? Are you going to get a tutor or anything, or are you quite happy just to have a translator? I mean, I suppose is the team quite multinational? There's a few different nationalities.
Yeah, everybody speaks English, so, and I'm going to take some lessons. I think it would be good. I don't know how well it would go down on Bears Road, frankly.
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sitting in tennis. I don't think that would go down too well.
You could do that. Steve McLaren, you remember when he went over and did his first press conference in Holland? It was very funny.
I don't think Neil will do that. No. I can't see him doing that. So we spoke the last time we were playing golf, and we had a chat about it, and you were saying it's a word. I used a word that's not very often used in football now. Entertainment. Yeah, and it's
we talked about that, Frank.
I just don't get it. So are you going to entertain them over there? Or just?
Well, I'm playing with 2 strikers at the minute.
Oh, brilliant!
Playing sort of 3-5-2. I love my strikers. So I want to score goals. It's like you say. You want to get on the front foot and attack teams, and too many teams I feel play with just the one striker, and if you've got a good striker and you're not using them, then you have to look at yourself. I want my teams to score goals.
Yeah.
And we touched on that. I think that gets lost a lot, Frank, and all this coaching talk and tactical side of it. The game is there for people to come and enjoy, and they want to watch attacking football. So that's a sort of thing I've had since my days at Celtic. Where that was the DNA of the club, and you try and bring that with you wherever you go.
Brilliant.
I know you're tight for time, Neil, so I won't keep you much longer. But I was going to say, you're only 53, so for managerial terms, you're still a young man. Do you ever envisage yourself managing back here again at some point, or?
I don't know. It's not something that I've really sort of thought of. I mean, I'm just so engrossed in what I'm doing here. You just like saying, you just never know where the game takes you. I've already been in Cyprus for a year, and now I'm in Romania. I know a lot of coaches who go from country to country and really enjoy what they're doing. Scotland's my home and I love it. And I was there for 18 months, but you get the itch to get back into it. And I love what I do. So, I just want to be a success here now. And then, you never know where that takes you elsewhere. But it's such a fickle business, and you're sort of judged from week to week. One day you're the king, and then the next day you're the villain. So you just got to, find a balance in between somewhere and enjoy the ride.
There you go.
Well, it's, would you ever consider if Stevie over at Scotland, would you ever consider taking the Scotland job?
No, I mean, I think that's for a Scottish guy, Frank.
Well,
honestly.
I don't know in today's football now, Neil, it's everyone, they're talking about Pep and all that for England. Or these kind of things.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think England will go. I think England will go England. And I think, me personally, the Scottish manager should be Scottish.
Well, you just said Scotland's my home, so that's...
Well, that's true, yeah. I mean, if I do get it, I'll bring you in as my number 2, Frank.
All right, I'll put the cones out.
Can I tell you what's impressing me? I've been watching your interviewing skills develop over the last few weeks, and you're coming in with some right belters. He says the right one up your sleeve at the end. I'll just ask Lenny if he wants to become Scotland manager. Kept that one quiet.
I like Stevie. Stevie's done well with the boys that we've got, but it's just you never know what's happening. As Neil said, it's a points business. They've not been doing well. So that was all. That's all.
I'm just trying to imagine Frank putting the cones out, Simon. It would be dark by the time you start training.
Aye, but there was a bar in Johnson called Cones. I'm pretty sure you spent a lot of time getting around.
A lot of cones. I used to work on the roads. I put cones out a lot.
So before we go, what do you think of Frank's interviewing skills? Are you any tips for him?
Nah, he's his own. Frank is quite a unique sort of personality. It's great to know him. I've actually seen him do his after dinner stuff, and it was brilliant, I have to say. And he's just, whatever he puts his hand to, he does, because he's just got that affectionate personality that's sort of infectious, Simon, it gets you.
Yeah.
And he's great company, and he always is the same. So he's never, you never see Frank in a bad mood. He's always dead chatty and hilariously funny, and he's great company. So when he texted me to come on, I said no problem. So I hope the show's a big success. I'm sure it will be.
I was going to say, you never seen him fluff a chip from 40 yards. That's his skill, No.
No, I told you, mate, he's a bandit. I mean, he eagled the par 5 first day I played him. I thought, what the hell is this I'm playing against?
I've never, it was one of them, isn't it? It's the same as you playing off somebody off 18. Oh, I've never hit the ball like that before. Yeah, really.
I know, that's what you are, huh?
I know.
That time you were just
single figures time you come back.
Remember when I was playing with you and Bobby Bluebell? I was playing with you and Bobby Bluebell at Hilton Park, and you were yapping on when he hit his shot.
Aye, that's it.
And he hit it again, because I'm taking that shot again.
You know what Bobby's like. Frank was talking. And just mention Nicola Sturgeon, he goes all over the place. He's all over the place.
Well, listen.
Well, thanks for Neil.
Can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Busy man, lot to contend with. So thanks again, and we'll maybe get you on. Let me be frank at some point in the future.
Good luck with the show, boys.
I'll give you a phone and come and see one of your games, Neil.
Okay, mate, you're more than welcome.
All right, pal. Take care.
Cheers.
God bless you.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you.